shipping forecast issued by the Met Office at 2358. There are warnings of gales in Portland, Plymouth, Biscay, Trafalgar, Finisterre, Seoul, Lundy, Fastnet and Shannon. The area forecasts for the next 24 hours.
I must confess, living in the centre of England, at the furthest possible point from the coast, I don't pay a lot of attention to the shipping forecast. But I know a man who does.
One of the significant factors about today's visit to the market really is that we are just a couple of days after some of the strongest winds to hit this country since the big gales of 1987.
South of Sierra 40s.
Eric the fish, whose livelihood depends on what happens at sea, although he's 150 miles away from the nearest fishing port.
Cromarty 4th time.
What we generally find is, of course, lots of boats have to tie up during storms of that nature, and even if they're at sea, they can't fish. And so, therefore, within a couple of days or 3 or 4 of really strong winds like that, what we usually experience is real shortages at the market, and you may well see me wandering around today, scratching my head, wondering what they have to buy.
Dover, White, Portland.
4 times a week, Eric makes a 50-mile round trip to the Birmingham markets, which explains why we are bowling along in his van at 2:30 in the morning.
West Finisterre, Seoul, westerly or cyclonic, then northerly 7 to severe gale 9, perhaps storm 10 later in west.
We are very, very lucky here to have this wholesale market in Birmingham, which is, I think, I would say it's probably better than any other market in the United Kingdom, and that would include even Billingsgate, really, because I've been there on a couple of occasions and I've seen the quality of the fish available. The reason Birmingham is so well placed is that it is actually at the centre of a transport network, a pretty complicated transport network that links virtually all the relevant parts anyway, of the United Kingdom, and that includes from the very top up to Orkney and Shetland, and virtually everywhere, in other words, in the United Kingdom that's relevant to the fishing industry, and no other place in England or Britain really can say that. I mean, you can get good fish, obviously, if you happen to be on the south coast, but the fact is you will only get south coast fish. And if I have a good market today, you'll find that I have got fish from absolutely all corners of the United Kingdom. And that puts us, paradoxically, I know, in a very, very good position.
What's the oldest fish that you'll buy today? How long is it since it was in the sea?
That's always a difficult question, really. What we do try to buy is inshore fish. Inshore fish being fish that's caught within the first 20 miles or so of the coastline. That's usually commanding a higher price, but that's what we look to buy because it's obviously the freshest. Some fish will be a little bit older than what you might really think. It would be a mistake to think that everything that's on sale in this market was swimming around yesterday or even 2 days ago. Some of it would be distant water fish from Lord knows where, even up the top end of Russia or the Barents Sea, in which case it would be fresh technically because it hasn't been frozen, but it wouldn't be as fresh as what I want. I can recognise what is fresh, and that's the key to the job, really. If you can't recognise what's fresh and therefore you can't buy it, well, your customers are going to find out and they'll tell you.
East Finisterre, south or southwest 7 to severe gale 9, backing southeasterly and decreasing 5 later. Thunderous showers, good.
The market that we're going to now that you'll see is an enormous complex that serves an enormous swath of the middle of England and indeed Wales in respect of fish, a little bit of poultry. There's a wholesale meat market all on the same site, and the biggest of all would be the fruit and veg, which is it's a couple of great enormous aircraft hangar type buildings. And what you have to imagine is that produce is coming in from absolutely all over the world, and it's coming in 24 hours a day. And the fish market is it's not to be compared in size with the scale of the fruit and veg, but it's we're talking about a building which comprises I think probably about 20 or so wholesalers. The thing is, a lot of people think, well, we have to buy under auction. Well, it isn't like that. It's there are no prices written anywhere or anything like that. So really, it's very much a case of us having to get to know the sellers, knowing who you can trust, knowing who you can't. And there's a few that you can't, to be honest. A few that would palm you off with anything. A few that would charge you more than the things are really worth. And when you start to do a job of this nature, I think you do get abused. Really, you do get taken for a ride. But hopefully that doesn't last for very long, because if it does, you won't be in business for very long.
Are you typical of the kind of person who comes to the market?
Most of us are small. Most of the fishmongers that use the market would be in business very much the same as me.
What do you look for when you're buying fish?
Well, I look for freshness, that's for sure. And I've been coming up here now for getting on for 8 years. And I know, roughly speaking, on any given day, who will have what. And I know roughly what I would expect to pay. But there isn't anybody that's ever used this market that hasn't come away thinking, oh God, why did I buy that? Well, I could have gone down the road and had some better or some cheaper. But broadly speaking, I'm afraid you put up with that. Because one thing that we don't really do, unless there's very, very exceptional reasons, is we don't run in, which is to say we don't agree to buy something off one guy and then find something better down the road and go back to the first guy and say, no, I don't want that. You'd lose a lot of credibility if you did that repeatedly. And credibility is what you want. You need a good relationship with your wholesalers.
He disappeared so quickly, so headlong down went he, that he went out of sight like a streak of light to the bottom of the deep blue sea.
Singing Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be. Marry to a mermaid at the bottom of the deep blue sea.
We're coming into the market now, and here we are. It's just like I'd normally expect. A typical day in the market. But however, what might not be typical is what I've already said. I think that today might be a little bit of a struggle. I think the quality fish is going to be in short supply. It's a day when we have to be doubly careful, because some people will have been hanging on to stuff which isn't going to be as fresh as I want. And other people might not have anything. So I think that today is likely to be on a scale of 1 to 10, around about 9 in terms of difficulty. Are you coming out now? All these big lorries here, these are nearly all poultry people. The fish most of the fish that's been supplied here today will have already arrived. Usually gets here about 2. That'll do for me. That's it, we're here. I'm going to have a quick cup of tea now. Gather my thoughts. The omens, like I feared, I told you with all that wind we had, things are going to be bad, and apparently, according to my man Jimmy, they're as bad as they could be. What have you got, Jimmy? Mr. Davis is named really, but he's the head of Scots. And he's the up-and-coming market yuppie. I remember him when he was a minor detail in this market, but now he's a big flyer.
Not quite what you call me normally, Eric, is it? Normally a few more swear words than that, isn't there, Eric?
Yeah. So what have you got for me, mate, on your own?
Good place fillets, good haddocks, monk, superb salmon, and that is about it, Eric, I would say.
Not even any coal here?
No. Just those, they're not good enough for you.
Yeah. These are pretty good without being exceptional, I think I'd say. I might have they're not bad actually, they're not bad. I've seen better. He's also got some lower stuff plates, which at this time of year I probably wouldn't choose as a rule. No Iceland fish till tomorrow, even blowing in Iceland. How much are those, Jimmy? These particular fillets here, it's a bit of a new thing for us really. They're actually flown in. They're flown in, I think, from Keflavik, Iceland, into Glasgow, and then they link up with our transport system. And generally speaking, they do send us, I think, the best that they've got. And those are nice fillets. They're nice and bright, nice and clean, filleted well. And I'm sure they're very cheap, aren't they, Jimmy? So we'll take them. Jimmy, £4 a monk.
Have a bit of salmon.
I'm all right, I think. I've got to get some salmon off somebody else.
Brilliant.
There's my salmon man over there. I didn't buy a few. If he sees that, he'll get obsessed. They are, yeah. These are from Shetland, I think. They're very, very nice fish indeed. They're quite fresh.
The box doesn't give it away with Shetland written all over it, does it, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be. Marry to a man they end at the bottom of the deep blue sea.
We've got the Irish mussels coming in. Just going to pick those up.
I'll have a stone, mate. Just a stone today.
Just one stone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they were all right last week.
Place fillets you're interested in?
I'm going to see if I can get some South Coast. I can see you don't have any of them. But I probably won't, will I?
It was blowing down the south.
It was, apparently, so yeah, there was a bit of wind, yeah. And they're nice too. I bet they're going to be quite a price today. I'll just go and
What do you look for
find out
to tell
I
it's
look for
good?
brightness, I look for nice clean fillets, I don't look for any marks. I look for... They must be clean and fresh, and these are. If they were dull and lifeless looking, you'd know that you would want to avoid them. Sometimes places get nasty blemishes on them, but there doesn't seem to be any of them in here.
These lobsters are still alive.
Oh yeah, lobsters are sold live in this market. Yeah, oh yeah. We get them to order, but I'm afraid that those be somewhere in the region of £7 a pound, I expect, or something like that, and therefore, well, only on big days do we get orders for them. The ground we're on now is the ground of it's the pitch of Owen Brothers. I suppose I do spend as much money as I do with anybody. I get on well with Paul. He's a good boy. He brings a cricket team to play against my team every year. This year we gave him a good hiding, and I'm sure even on a bad day like today we'll find some nice fish. I can see I can see he's got some of the things I'm likely to want. Morning, mate.
Morning.
Right.
Yeah, we are struggling today.
And it's
Well,
more than...
it is very awkward. All I've got, Eric, is the Scotch here. I mean, there was just nothing.
Oh, no, yeah,
The weather has made it desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare that we don't have.
Oh, no,
There's a couple of three-quarter ones there, which are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
With just one little boat spinner.
That's typical of what Paul sells, really. That's inshore cod. It's from Whitby. If you look at the shine on that, they're lovely greeny yellow colour. There's the skin is as smooth as glass, and there's no nasty brown bits. And that's as good a cod as you'll ever really find.
I mean, that's about the dearest we've been for ages and ages. The weather has really put the block on it this week.
Well...
I doubt if you're going to beat them
Yeah.
today, because I know he got the best on the market. I was desperate yesterday. I rung him up very, very early. You know, I just told him to get the best.
Pick me out 3 of them as well as them other 2, I think. Yeah.
Right, okay. I'll pick you 3 nice ones out now.
If you would, yeah.
Biscay, south or southeast 5 to 7, occasionally gale 8 in north, decreasing 4, thunderous showers, moderate or good.
The forecast's hopeless, you know.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible into next week.
I know.
Who'd be a fishmonger? I mean, the problem is it's the one game where the man still goes out and hunts the food,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
it,
know what
yeah.
I mean? They go out, or they never know what they're going to get. Well, that's it. I mean, in this job, really, for us, you've got to watch the weather forecast like a hawk.
Yeah.
You know, to see what's happening. Because it's the main controlling factor.
We have got some reasonable fish today. It won't be one of my best shows ever, but it won't be too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll have to do. So what I'll do now is I'll go around and pay everybody now as a rule. Oh no, probably what I'll do, I'll go and load. I'll do my own loading, you see. I've got nobody to blame then if I forget anything, only myself. Because as you see, I've bought fish off about, I don't know, 8 or 9 different stalls, I suppose. So the next job is really to barrow it all up, load it into my van, and then the hard bit is paying for it.
So it's now, what, 4:35. We're ready to go, are we?
We are, yeah, we're off. We definitely are. We want to get out this rain a bit quick, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
a good idea to get inside the van.
Yeah. So now it's just a question of nipping back. It's going to take me about half an hour to get back to the shop. And it's a horrible morning. I hope it'll improve later. Wet, cold, windy days like this don't bring too many customers out. Normally I have the World Service accompanying me this time of day. Radio 4 goes on to World Service until 6 o'clock. And I usually have some interesting programme of some description on this time. See what there is on the well service, okay, mate? All right.
Always before, I'd felt I was on such thin ice if I didn't focus all my attention on
I
trying to
changed
please him.
the clocks went back last week, and all the programme times changed. I normally know what's on, but I'm afraid I haven't got a clue what's on today.
Him to disappear.
It sounds like short story time, which may not be the most, may not be what I'm looking for today.
Quite quickly, I grew less deranged. But underneath, my idea of life was
No, I don't
completely...
think so. Won't be able to pick that up.
By 5:20, we were back at the shop. Eric opened up and switched on the radio, the kettle and the ice maker in that order. Eric's partner Dillis was due to arrive about 6, and in the meantime he began to prepare the fish for the all-important window display.
So we've made a start. We've got the fresh crab and some nice fresh crevettes on there at the moment. Any minute now we'll have a bit of help, although it's still probably 15 minutes before Dill gets here. She's good at sorting all these boxes there. I became a fishmonger in 1989 as a result of being a little bit dissatisfied with the jobs I'd done up until that point. And we opened the door for the first time in August 1989. And I can tell you in those days we weren't as quite well organised as I think we are now. We used to have some of our fish delivered in those days, which it seemed like a good idea to me. However, that system lasted about 3 months, I think, because I quickly found out that what happens is if you have your fish delivered, is that you end up with having stuff that doesn't meet your quality. It's the wrong size, it's the wrong price, it arrives late, blah blah blah. And by about just before the Christmas of that first year, 1989, I resolved that if I was going to stay in business, and I was determined to try, that I would go to market from that point every day myself, buy all my fish myself, and that way I had only myself to blame if I couldn't get what I wanted or if I ended up with the wrong thing. And that system has served me well. I believe that by going to the market every day, as I do, I can end up with top quality fish, as good as it's possible to buy, certainly in the Midlands. And I think my customers appreciate the sort of standards that we try and achieve.
How did you learn what to do?
I've always been pretty handy at cooking, and therefore, and of course I enjoy cooking fish. That was the main point. And even up to a point, I was fairly good at all the things that you have to do in respect of filleting and staking. Although I have to admit, that I wasn't as proficient as I think I am now. I remember certainly on the first day being as nervous as hell. We had lots and lots of fish here. And one of my first customers, a little old woman, she ordered a lemon sole or something. And I remember being really nervous about it. And she asked me to fillet it. And I made a complete and absolute mess of it. And I ended up giving it to her. I said, I can't charge you for that. I haven't done that very well, I'm afraid. And I felt I thought, oh God, what am I doing here? But happily things did improve after that.
It's a very demanding job, at least in terms of the hours.
Yes,
what sort of an hourly day do you have?
Well, I'm lucky in respect that I only work 4 days. I only work Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that gives me 3 days off. But a typical working day, it started at about 5 minutes to 2. I think that one of the crucial things is we do work long days when we do them, but what is crucial is that it's only 4. I mean, we would definitely be doing a 16-hour day today, and to be honest, it's not a problem. But it would be a problem if I was doing 5 or 6 of them, I think.
Both the Telegraph and Mail highlight a suggestion from the former Chancellor Lord Hooney that if European military...
The process of trimming and preparing went on uninterrupted for the next hour and a half, the passage of time being measured by the flow of programmes on the radio.
38M heading into Birmingham is closed, and in Kent there are delays on the A257 Little Footman.
This is Today with Sue McGregor and John Humphreys.
I don't think it's not really, is it?
It's 7 o'clock on Thursday, the 31st of October. News headlines this morning: the strike by teachers over a disrupted pupil.
So, almost done? 7:30?
Yeah, well, the display's almost done. I've got a lot more preparation to do for fish that will go out later as this gets sold. But I'm sort of nearly finished now. I'm quite happy with what we've got.
Looks very colourful.
Yeah. It is quite a nice display. We've got the nice white of the cod. The cod is very, very, very good today. even though it isn't from my normal source actually. It's Scottish as opposed to Whitby. We've got the red of the trout fillets, we've got the red of the crevettes, the brown of the Dover soles, some nice blue mackerel. We've got plenty of seaweed and parsley and coriander and lemons, so there's plenty of colour. A bit of dressed crab, some nice shiny trout, some nice pink skate. So I'm quite pleased with the display. So yeah, we're nearly there now in terms of today's display. Trouble is, people start buying it shortly now, and then it gets messed about. People that come in about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, they never get to see anything like that.
Finally, the shop door was left open to let in the cold, the swish of the traffic on the wet road outside, and the all-important first customer. It was a toss-up who it would be. Either a man who selects his fish from a list which he carries round with him, which ensures that he works his way through the range of his preferences over a 3-week period, or Miss Marky Davis, who'd once taught Dillis at high school. In the end, it was Miss Marky Davis.
Good morning.
Yes.
How are you, madam?
Very well, thank you.
Good. What would you like today? There's no halibut, I might just say.
What do you recommend? Oh, well, we'll have the Christopher's first.
Well, you'd like some small plates, I suppose.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, those possibly are a bit small. I might find him something a bit bigger, I think.
Have you been coming here long?
Yes. How long have you been coming, Eric?
I don't know, but quite some time now.
Yeah, years.
What makes you come?
Brilliant fish, nice service, always welcome. Can't speak too highly.
You must have got up early to get here at this time.
I've been swimming. I come on the way back from swimming 3 times a week.
That's 1:30.
I'll take the little lead, I'll take that for him.
Okay, then,
I told him that you were short of fish.
Well, yeah, we've had a funny market today. It's we have got some nice fish, but we haven't quite got the things, you know, like those nice halibut that you've been having.
Yeah.
Superb. But,
So what do you recommend for us? Haddock?
I think that, well, I've got good haddock, yeah.
We'll have haddock then.
Will you?
Yeah.
Right, I've got these.
Yeah, put that separate, will you?
Yeah, I will. I'll wrap it separate in a minute.
That's what the price.
These are superb today. And one of those I think would just do nicely.
Right, skin it for me,
Yeah.
will you? Thanks.
And yours will be 2 cents.
Thank you. Lovely.
Was it busy in the bath today?
Oh, it's terrible. Packed. Absolutely packed. I nearly got out. It was so busy.
Good God. On a damn horrible day, you wouldn't hang
I
anything
know.
with you?
I think quite a few people are staying at the hotel.
Right.
By 9:30, the shop was full of regular customers who were quite clear why they'd come.
I especially come here. I don't do it with anything else, no.
Well, I like Marks and Spencer's frozen fish, but I like this place. It takes some beating.
Well, it's always so nice, so fresh, and it's a shop you walk in, and you wouldn't think it was a fish shop because everything smells so fresh. In a supermarket, it looks sad.
The reason we come, because the quality is good. It's also obliging, which makes an awful lot of difference.
I don't like supermarkets. I rather individuals, like individual shopping. A person knows, they know what you like, they're you.
Thanks very much indeed.
And he has nice fish, good fish, fresh this morning.
If you had to describe Eric, how would you describe him?
Wonderful. Very sexy. Yes, very nice, very courteous, very polite, cultured man.
By then, Eric's mother, the final member of the team, had arrived to help cope with the surge of customers. And I have to say that standing in an unheated shop for 8 hours on a winter's day, with the door wide open, handling fish which has been lying on a bed of wet seaweed and ice, requires dedication and careful preparation.
We dress up, we put layers on. You know, we just pile the layers on. We start with thermal and then we build up from there. Let's see, I've got 3 today, plus thermal boots with 2 pairs of socks.
But the biggest problem must be the hands.
The biggest problem is the hands and your face, of course. It's really cold. So I don't know what the customers think when they come in and see us all red-nosed.
So the secret of Eric the Fish's success seems to be service, quality, and above all, freshness. To borrow a slogan which I'd seen on the side of a van of one of his suppliers at the fish market 6 hours earlier, fish so fresh, even the next of kin haven't been informed.
But down he went so quickly, saying 'tis all up with me, when he met a lovely mermaid at the bottom of the deep blue sea.
Singing Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be
married to a mermaid at the bottom of the deep blue sea.